Imagine waking up at dawn, strapping on armor that digs into your shoulders, hoisting a shield nearly as tall as yourself, and then setting out to march 20 miles under the burning sun. With nearly 30 kilograms of equipment strapped to your back. No horses, no wagons, no luxuries, just your own legs and sheer determination. And when that march is over, you don't rest. You dig ditches, raise walls, and prepare a fortified camp before you can even think about sleep. This was the brutal, punishing life of a Roman legionary on the march, one of the most demanding aspects of ancient warfare. Hello, and welcome to Historic Horizons. Today we're diving into one of the most grueling, yet often overlooked, parts of Roman military life. The endless, punishing marches that forged Rome's war machine. Battles were brief, spectacular moments in history, but the reality of legionary life was one of constant movement, exhaustion, and endurance. If you want to truly understand how Rome built and held an empire, you need to know what it meant to march as a soldier of the legions. The daily grind of a legionary Roman soldiers are often remembered for their discipline in battle, but their daily reality was defined by the march. A typical day could demand 15 to 25 miles of relentless walking, sometimes more, and this wasn't a light stroll through open fields. Soldiers trudged through rocky landscapes, muddy river valleys, and scorching deserts. Each step was made heavier by the crushing weight of their gear, and every day blurred into the next in an exhausting routine. Ancient writers even joked or perhaps complained that legionaries weren't men but beasts of burden. After the sweeping military reforms of Gaius Marius in the late 2nd century BCE, soldiers began carrying far more of their own supplies, earning them the nickname Muli Mariani, Marius mules. It was not a compliment. The burden they carried. So what exactly did a legionary haul with him across the empire? Historians estimate the average load at around 30 to 45 kilograms, or 65 to 100 pounds, is a staggering burden. Armor, either the Larica Hamada chainmail or the later Larica segmentata segmented plate armor. It's both weighing 9 to 15 kilograms. Helmet. A heavy bronze or iron galea providing vital protection. Shield. The scutum. A curved rectangle nearly a meter tall, weighing around 10 kilograms. Weapons. The short sword gladius, 1 or 2 pila javelins, and sometimes a pugio dagger. Tools and gear. A spade or pickaxe for digging, a saw, a pot, wooden stakes for camp fortifications, a cloak, spare sandals, and even a wicker basket. Rations. Grain for several days, sometimes dried meat or cheese, and a water skin. This wasn't just a soldier's kit. It was a mobile arsenal, workshop, and kitchen all in one. Imagine dragging all of this through rain-soaked mud or over stony mountain passes. And you begin to see why discipline and endurance were drilled so mercilessly into recruits. The relentless pace. Roman discipline meant the legions marched with machine-like regularity. On a normal day, the pace was about 20 miles. That's roughly 32 kilometers in a single day, under heavy load. But in emergencies, when speed meant survival, the Romans pushed even harder. Some sources describe forced marches of up to 30 miles in a single day. Then they did all of this in hobnailed sandals, the caligae. These were sturdy, but not exactly designed for comfort. Long days left, feet blistered and bleeding. Soldiers stuffed grass or cloth into their sandals to reduce friction, but infection and swelling were constant threats. The fact that they could keep marching day after day is a testament to their endurance, and their fear of punishment if they lagged behind. The roads of Rome. The empire's vast network of roads is legendary, and indeed it was crucial for the legion's mobility. Straight, stone-paved highways allowed armies to cross provinces faster than almost any enemy. But the roads were not a soft blessing. They were unforgiving. Imagine walking 20 miles on hard stone day after day. Knees, ankles, and feet bore the brunt of it, often leading to chronic pain. And when the roads ended, the misery began. Campaigns often dragged legions into trackless forests, across scorching deserts, or up rugged mountain ranges. In Germania, soldiers hacked through dense woods while soaked by endless rain. In Judea, they sweated through barren deserts with little water. The road system helped, but Rome's conquests stretched far beyond its limits. No rest at day's end. Here's where the cruelty of legionary life truly revealed itself. After marching all day, soldiers did not simply collapse into tents. Instead, they were ordered to build a fortified camp a Castro before nightfall. This wasn't optional, it was essential. Every night, without fail, trenches were dug, ramparts raised, and wooden stakes set in place to create a defensive perimeter. Inside, the camp was laid out with mathematical precision. Streets, headquarters, barracks, and storage areas. It was an incredible display of discipline and efficiency, but it came at the cost of immense fatigue. Imagine marching 20 miles, then spending 2 or 3 more hours digging and building before eating and resting only, to do it all over again the next day. Psychological strain. The physical demands were brutal enough, but the psychological strain was equally severe. Soldiers were often hundreds or even thousands of miles from home, trudging through hostile lands where every rustle in the trees could signal an ambush. The monotony of endless marching was broken only by danger raids, skirmishes, or the dread of a full-scale battle at the end of the day. Camaraderie helped. Legionaries bonded over shared suffering, singing marching songs or trading jokes to lighten the load. But there was also fear of enemies, of exhaustion, and of punishment. Discipline in the Roman army was ironclad, and falling behind could result in flogging or worse. Collective punishment, such as decimation, ensured that no soldier dared to shirk his duty. From march to battle, perhaps the most punishing reality was this. A march often ended not in rest, but in combat. Enemies sought to strike the Romans when they were weakest, exhausted from travel, burdened with equipment. Yet Roman training prepared them for this very scenario. Soldiers drilled to drop their marching packs quickly, form ranks, and fight with full cohesion even after hours of relentless walking. Imagine being on your feet since dawn, carrying half your body weight, and then being told to fight for your life in disciplined formation. This was the brutal expectation placed on every legionary, and yet again and again they rose to the challenge. Training for endurance. So how did recruits survive this punishing lifestyle? Training. Roman military training was notorious for its harshness. Recruits were forced to march long distances, carrying even heavier packs than in real campaigns. They were drilled to march in perfect formation, no matter how exhausted they were. Punishments were severe, instilling obedience and resilience. The goal was simple: to make the march itself routine, even second nature. By the time a man was a full legionary, he was conditioned not just physically, but mentally. The march broke weaker men, but it made the survivors into soldiers who could endure almost anything. Why marching mattered. Rome's ability to march its armies vast distances at speed was a cornerstone of its empire. It allowed generals to outmaneuver slower enemies, to appear suddenly in unexpected places, and to sustain campaigns across continents. Hannibal's elephants may have shocked Rome, but it was Rome's marching legions that ultimately wore him down. The same endurance carried Caesar's armies across Gaul, Augustus' forces along the Rhine, Trajan's legions deep into Dacia. Marching wasn't glamorous, but it was the iron backbone of Roman conquest. Conclusion. So the next time you read about a Roman victory, remember that the glory of the battlefield was built on the agony of the march. It was not swords or strategy alone that won the empire, but the sheer endurance of soldiers who trudged mile after mile, day after day, burdened with crushing loads. Through heat, mud, and fear, the brutal reality of marching in a Roman legion forged Rome. Supremacy and left behind a legacy of discipline and endurance that remains inspiring even today. Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to support our work and never miss an upload. Like this video, drop a comment, and share it with others to show your support and help us grow this historical community.